Hello and welcome to another video from earnped.com. I am StevieB. We've got plenty of smacks, sips, and echo for all the haters out there. Today I am chilling doing some crafting. You can see I'm over 1,100 crafting attempts in, probably well over 5,000 crafting attempts for the day, and it happens to be my day off, so we wanted to get some videos pumped out for you guys, so here we are. So guys, today while I'm doing some crafting, we're going to talk about something that requires you to listen but not so much see, and that is everything that is particularly wrong with Mayhem at the moment. This is going to be one of those videos that will give you insight into the game, insight into mechanics, insight into how to think while talking about a current issue. Hopefully this will change your thinking about the game and will help you later on down the road. So guys, I've been really busy in real life. I had a lot going on. Still got a lot going on. Also been busy in game with Summer Mayhem 2020. So I haven't been pumping out very many videos. What some of you might have heard was that there was a problem with some of the Yog pets that allowed people to cheat at Mayhem. And today we're going to explain how that was possible. So this very first popped up right after Summer Mayhem 2020 began. Today is June 25th, so Summer Mayhem's been going on for a couple of weeks now. So right after Mayhem started, we found out that people were using Yog pets to essentially cheat at Mayhem. How is this possible? Well, as you guys know, Mayhem has a damage per second cap for each category. And in order to really win, in order to really compete, you have to have a weapon that's right at that damage cap. And then you also need it tier 10. You need it tier 10 so you can put an amp on it and fill it full of damage enhancers and really get as much damage output as possible. But to really compete in Mayhem, you have to go a step further. You have to have the best gear. You have to have the best rings. You have to have the best armor. You have to have the best weapon. You have to have the best pills, the best buffs. And that's where the problem comes in, is with the buffs. So there are different things in game that can give you different abilities or increase the abilities you naturally have. A good example would be Earthshocker armor is a limited armor that increases the critical damage you can do. An Ares improved ring is one of the rings that can increase your reload speed. Hyperstim pills can increase your reload speed. So let's take a look at how buffs work. So if I move my little crafting thing over, we can see down here on my little nameplate that I've got these green things above my name. So these are the different buffs that I have active. So this first one I'm going to hover over is for reload speed. I want you to notice that my current reload strength is 8%. Now look at the three categories below that. We've got item, action, and total. So all buffs more or less work like this. There is a buff action for item, there is a buff for item, there's a buff for action, and then there's a buff for total. So there's three different categories we need to look at. So reload speed was the particular one that the Yogs had a problem with. So the most reload speed that we should be able to get from an item is 15%. That's the first line underneath shrink. Item, I'm currently running 8% over 15%. So I should not be able to get more than 15% reload out of having items. What are items? Items are armor, items are rings, items are actual things in-game that I'm using that are not consumable. Now below that we have action. Action is consumables, so it's something like a pill. The hyperstims do 5, 10, 15% reload. The modified neurostims, the one that I typically purchase, are the only pills I know of in game that give you 20% reload. So notice that below action we've got total. So we can get 15% reload from an item, assuming we had an Ares perfected, which is currently about 6,000 ped, that would give us 15% item reload. I'm only running an Ares improved, so I've currently got 8. Then action, let's assume that I popped a modified neurostim. I would have 20% over 20% action reload. So with an Ares perfected ring and modified neurostim, I would have a total of 35% reload speed. But look at total, 8% over 30%. So there is a cap, a total cap of 30% reload speed. So even if I had an Ares perfected, and even if I popped modified neurostem, my cap would be 30% total between the item and the action. So actually having an Ares perfected and having modified neurostem would put me at 35%, which is more than the total 30% allowed. So the total that I can have is 30, but I can have up to 15% from an item and up to 20% from an action. Now you can actually go past these amounts, but it doesn't do you any good. So even if I somehow got 20% item reload and 30% action reload, it would still cap me at 15 and 20, and then my total would still be capped at 30. So there's caps on it. So part of Mayhem, part of actually competing, is figuring out how to get as close to these caps as efficiently and economically as possible. Now guys, there are people a lot smarter than me that play this game. I tell people all the time, I am just an idiot with a YouTube channel. I also tell you guys over and over, I stand on the shoulders of giants. I know players who have invested over 40,000 PED just in their armor for Mayhem. I know one player who has over 400,000 PED invested in just his Mayhem gear, between rings, armor, weapons. That's 400,000 PED, 40,000 US dollars. 400,000 PED, 40,000 US dollars in his competition gear, rings, armor, whole 9 yards. That is a lot of money. So why do we initially do this? Well, those of us who chose to compete, we didn't do it because we wanted the boxes. You can grind out the boxes. We did it because we wanted the items from the Mayhem token vendor. So when you actually win Mayhem, what you get for winning is tokens. You can get placement tokens for being in the top 3 or in first place for the secondary competition. You also get a bulk amount of the regular tokens. Now you can grind away a couple hundred of the regular tokens per Mayhem in the lower categories, and if you don't have the placement tokens, you can go to the token vendor and you can trade them for pills, and then you can sell the pills. But the real money in Mayhem is in the competition gear that you get from the token vendor. Stuff like the BP-70 Perfected, which had the second highest efficiency of any item in game next to Messi's Dagger. The BC-80 Augmented, one of the most popular rifles in game. That's the kind of stuff that you can only get from the token vendor, and it's stuff that there is a very limited amount of. There's only 5 of these weapons, 10 of these weapons, if you're lucky 15 of some of them. And guys, you have to win a lot of Mayhems. To get some of the best gear, you had to have 2 placement tokens plus over 100,000 regular tokens. Put that into perspective for you guys. I've competed now in a total of, I believe, this will be my 6th Mayhem, and I've only got like 16,000 regular tokens total. That's from all my placements put together. Now I've got some placement tokens on top of that, but I'm still like 84,000 tokens shy of getting some of the best gear. So here's the problem. If you notice, item and action each have their own category, and then you have a total category, right? But what about pets? And this is where the problem comes in. There is a Yog pet, little spider from Monria, that was designed that at a certain level, once it had a skill unlocked, it would help you run your mining excavator faster. Now, when they programmed this pet, they programmed it to make the mining excavator reload faster to help miners pull stuff out of the ground. They never intended for it to help reload weapons faster or reload FAPs faster. It was specifically designed for mining. Here's the problem. We find out that somebody figured out that this Yog doesn't just reload mining excavators faster, it reloads everything faster, including weapons. So the problem is it wasn't counted as either an item or an action because it was a pet. Because of that, this allowed some players to get over 55% reload speed. They were able to max out that item, max out that action, and then also spawn their Yog pet, and the reload speed from the Yog pet was being applied to the weapon. So this explains quite a bit. I was talking to my family the other night. I said, it's kind of weird how me and the top couple of players in each category are always at the top of the Mayhem list, and not by a little bit. It's usually by a pretty significant margin. Yet, ever since I started Mayhem, there's one player who is always like leaps and bounds ahead of me. And it's somebody that you've never heard of, it's somebody that you never see in game, and their score just blows everybody away. And you're like, how in the hell did they do that? Here's one of the problems with Mayhem, guys. That category cap, the only way you get run after run after run after run at Mayhem is if you're in the God category, category 10, because you chip out so much, because you cap out so fast, it's ridiculous. Take a look at my professions. I am literally at 44.9529 laser sniper hit. I am literally right at the 45 profession level cap for category 3. I literally cannot run again. There's 5 days left in the competition, and I literally cannot run again because 5 seconds into another competition run, I would be toast. I would be over the cap, and I'd have to keep chipping out. And it just doesn't make sense to keep chipping out over and over and over just to do more competition runs when you don't know if you're going to get lucky or not. So you do it smart. You chip out when you have to. You do as many runs as you feel is necessary, and then you stop. If you guys look, I mean, I'm done running Summer Mayhem at the moment. Look at the scores. I am in dead last for category 3. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm literally dead last. I'm in 57th place down here at the very bottom. Crap score. That's one of the reasons that I'm standing here crafting, is I'm going to do some crafting between now and the time that summer migration starts. I'm going to wait on those ESI prices to drop. But was it really worth it in the first place? So here's the problem. The whole point of investing money in competition gear is to compete, to win those tokens, to get those things from the Mayhem vendor with your tokens so that you can sell them and make money, or use them and make money. The problem is, this has apparently been going on for many, many, many Mayhems now, and Mindark just a few weeks ago fixed it where the Yog cannot be used. That means every single player who placed in previous Mayhems should have placed higher. That means that the people who got the weapons out of the token vendor, who already sold them or already used them, probably did not rightfully get them. Now, I'm kind of split over this. Yes, it is a game mechanic that a pet's buff should not necessarily be part of item or action or total. But at the same time, it circumvents the rules of the competition. If you ask me, using the Yog in regular hunting to just hunt faster, that's perfectly fine. Using it in a competition setting where you knew it was a way to circumnavigate the reload speed of the competition should have been a bannable offense. That's just me personally. I kind of see both sides of it as an advantage player. I see both sides of the argument, but in good sportsmanship, that's not good sportsmanship. You know, if you beat me because we've got comparable gear and comparable strategy, and you just got lucky, okay, good for you. You hit a 5,000 point award, I didn't. Hats off to you. If I beat you because I had a little bit better setup and I had a little bit better strategy, okay, hats off to me. Good sportsmanship. But to completely circumnavigate the rules in such a manner that gives you an extra 20 to 25% reload speed for a competition that takes 10 to 20 hours to complete, that's just blatant cheating in my opinion. So here's the problem. Mindark has thrown out a couple of ideas. They're thinking about maybe compensating people with a few extra Mayhem tokens or a few extra placement tokens. They've said it would be too hard and possibly impossible to go back to all the previous Mayhems and disqualify people and take tokens back. Also, they can't get the weapons that have already been taken out of the vendor and put into circulation back. You can't just throw a few tokens at the problem and make it go away. Because, as another player said, hats off to the captain for this one, the whole point behind getting the tokens was to get the items out of the vendor in the first place to either use or sell. That's already been done for the vast majority. So the only way I see this getting fixed is A, the people who blatantly disregarded the rules of the competition need to A, be punished, B, the people who did not and competed fairly need to be rewarded, and C, part of that reward needs to not just be tokens. Give us something even better that was in than what was in the vendor to begin with. Give us something even better, because I'm sorry, if somebody made $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 illegitimately, we should make 12 or 13 for being the legitimate. And yes, I know it's not a zero-sum game. I know we can't take away from A to give to B because it's already out there. But this is part of the problem, and this is why I want you guys to think about how it happened, how they used the pet to circumnavigate the rules. Because in the regular day-to-day of EU grinding, would it have been smart? Maybe, depending on how you did it, depending on the rest of your setup, maybe, because it would have allowed you to farm looter skills faster, it would have allowed you more looting attempts per hour, it would have allowed you to grind faster, so maybe, if the rest of your setup was right. In competition mode, though, competition's completely different. It definitely had a massive advantage in competition mode. And there's other things like this in-game, maybe not to the same extreme, but maybe the same principle. Maybe the same principle of just general advantage play. Give you an example. You guys have heard me say over and over and over, hunt large numbers in single settings. 10-hour straight run of Mayhem, guys. I hit my biggest Hall of Fame ever the last 30 minutes. I hit a 2917 PED Shrapnel Hall of Fame of one Cat 3 creature in Mayhem in the last 30 minutes of my 10-hour run. And I was really hitting that entire run hard. Did it put me up positive? Yeah, I was actually TT positive, which was actually pretty incredible. Now, would I have preferred for it to have been item drops? Yeah, because I could have sold those for market, but it did make me TT positive. My biggest Hall of Fame ever prior to that was 2,500 that I hit on my first Halloween Mayhem about 18 months back. So maybe an advantage play is not necessarily, hey, I've got to take this Yog that can circumnavigate the reload speed and use it in a competition. Maybe the advantage play is just make my hunts longer. Maybe the advantage play is this weapon that I'm considering tiering a competition weapon? No, it's a Z12 Barbello from the starter pack. Okay, then I'm not going to waste money tiering it. Just because something doesn't have a massive effect doesn't mean it's not an advantage play. There's all kinds of things like just playing smart, playing eco that can be advantage plays. But the point of this video is to get you to think outside the box. Most of us that were competing, when we looked at it, we looked at the game, the mechanics, the rules, and we said, okay, here's how we max out our reload speed with items. Here's how we max out our reload speed with rings. Here's how maxing out each of those keeps us to the total max. And this is the setup I need to have an advantage. Somebody, actually several somebodies, looked at it and said, okay, I can max out those things the same way everybody else can. I can also take my pet and use my pet that's made to make mining faster, and I can use it to make me shoot faster. And that added reload percent will not be added into action item or total, which will give me a 25% edge. That's how I want you guys to think outside of competition. I'm not advocating cheating in competitions. I'm not advocating blatantly circumventing rules of any type. I am advocating thinking outside the box, because to the guys that did it, total props on the advantage play. Total props on coming up with it. Total props on circumnavigating how it was set up and using it to your advantage. But shame on you for cheating in something you knew was a competition. Let me put this into real world perspective for you guys. So let's say that we're playing blackjack at a casino. All right? So we're sitting there playing blackjack, and you have the ability to split tens. Let's go with the most basic thing ever that everybody knows. And for whatever reason, everything works out, and let's just say it's a good time to do that. I'm not going to gripe at anybody for doing that. Now, is it going to get you kicked out of the casino? Probably. Is it smart? Mathematically, maybe, depending on your bankroll and everything, probably not. Okay, but in regular day-to-day casino play, am I going to yell at you for that? No. Because you know what? If it gives you an advantage and you feel you can pull it off, go for it. But now let's say we're in a competition, and let's say we're not playing regular blackjack. Let's say we're in a blackjack tournament. And one of the rules is that you cannot split your first two cards, right? So we're playing, and everybody is just going with the assumption that you can't split, because that's one of the rules of the competition. And you get some stupid hand like 3-5, and you hit it and you get a 2, so now you've got a 10. And you say, okay, well now I'm going to split because it's not my first 2 cards, now I've got 3 cards. Well, the rule is still no splitting. That's what the rule was designed for. But now you're finding a way to circumnavigate it that is technically to your advantage, but is against the rules of the competition. You cannot do that. So props on the way the guys were thinking, but again, shame on you for knowing it was hurting the competition, knowing it was hurting other players, and it's something that didn't like just unduly enrich you. It's something that made people lose faith in the game at the same time. I was literally just telling a player the other day how my Nart was finally starting to win back my trust in the direction they're taking the game. And he agreed with me. And this is a very high level, very competitive person that invested a ton of money in competition gear alone. Ton of money. More money than some people spend on their house. And literally, like a week later, this comes out and he goes, man, you were kind of right. Like, I love the way they're headed with the game, but they've still got so much they need to fix. How is it they couldn't even control their own competition? So, guys, this is another reason I say if you want to check out Mayhem, maybe check out the practice arena, do some grinding with some friends, go in there in a small team, grind you some boxes, grind you some tokens, trade them for pills. But don't tie yourself to Mayhem like I did. I'm going to be tied to it for the next 3 to 5 years, every 3 months. It really makes it hard for me to play in between. Like right now, I'd love to be grinding away, but I really can't. So instead, I'm just crafting some stuff I need to craft to make some cells I need to make anyway. It's very, very limiting because you cap out so fast. But guys, what I really want you to take away from this video is what happened and how their thinking was. Because they were thinking outside the box, and they did it in such a way that day-to-day play, good for them, cool. If they were using it to get faster reload speed, to get more looting events per hour, to get more looter skills per hour, and they had a great setup to go with it, awesome. I wish I could have tried it out because 55% reload speed seems freakishly awesome. Unfortunately, I didn't know about it. Otherwise, I probably would have tried it in a regular hunt. But to use that in a competition setting where you know it's blatantly against the rules, again, shame on y'all. Just what a way to show that you really just don't care. That's the kind of thing you more or less should have reported the moment you found out about it, because that's an exploit when it comes to competition. Maybe not day-to-day gameplay, but definitely in a competition setting it is. So guys, remember, competitions like Mayhem, they're there for a reason. It's not the day-to-day Entropia you know and love. It's a whole different beast. But use this to think outside the box, think differently, and you might find some ways that can help you in-game in your day-to-day activities. Guys, I'll leave it there for today. I've been StevieB with EarnPed.com. We've got more great content for you. I'm going to try and pump out a couple more videos today to upload over the next few days if I've got it in me. We've got a lot of great content coming. I've had some great video suggestions from users. I'll be uploading those in the very near future. That's just some of the quick goings on and one of the ways I want you to think about Entropia. Also, guys, remember we're still celebrating reaching 1,000 StevieB subscribers on YouTube and being able to actually monetize the platform. So as of right now, EarnPed.com is paying 50% more for your hideout points. 50% more than normal for those hideout points. That is a promotion I'm just going to keep running, mainly because I want to piss off PedFlow and Entropia partners by doing so. And, you know, maybe I take it back to normal, maybe I don't, but thank you guys for the support. It's a true honor. I hear from people every day in-game about the difference I've made in their gameplay and in their life. And guys, I'm just an idiot with a YouTube channel. I just try and give you guys some of the insights that I glean from the game and hope that it makes your day a little bit more enjoyable and your ped lasts a little bit longer. So to celebrate reaching 1,000 StevieBs, like I said, EarnPed.com currently offering 50% more for those hideout.tv points. Guys, if you really want to support us, hit like, hit subscribe, because the haters are going to hit dislike every chance they get. Let us know in the comments other ways to think outside the box that you have found that help you in your day-to-day grind in Entropia that makes your ped last a little bit longer. Let us know in the comments things that you found that work in a way they maybe weren't designed to work, but can be used to help you make that ped go just a little bit further. Guys, we'll be back with more content very soon. I've been StevieB. I hope all the StevieBs have a great day. Take care, guys.